Hey, it's Chris here today from Huckabones Equipment. In today's video, as you see behind me, we have the L6060, but it is a special edition L6060. You're going to see it as a Nordic kit put on it, which is available here in Canada. After that, you're going to see a lot of other key features that we're going to be talking about, as well as that N82 hybrid from Normand. What does it all add up to? It is a commercial residential driveway machine, so for removing snow. So again, let's start at the front, work our way back, and you can decide at the end whether it's a machine for yourself. So before we get into this specific unit, it's always good to know what we're kind of talking about in the Grand L lineup and where it sits in the Kubota lineup. So the Grand Ls have a few different horsepower options. So we have the 35 and the 40 horsepower, so L3560 and 4060. So they're on a little bit smaller of a platform. Again, if they're all parked in a row, you're not really going to see much of a difference, but it does come with a smaller loader. So the smaller loaders are the LA805s, so roughly lifting about 1,600 pounds is the biggest difference you're going to see. After that, then they come in 47, 54, and then the 60 horsepower unit. So again, at that point, it is the same frame size you're going to see, just different horsepowers, and then the bigger loader. So again, the 1055. So at that point, you're lifting about 2,300 pounds. So all kind of comes down to what you're looking for on that end. What changes, like I said, is the horsepower, but also the engine. So the 35 horsepower is going to be a 3-cylinder. 4-cylinder comes in at the 4060, and then the other three just again, you're still staying at a 4-cylinder, and then they're adding turbos and such to get up to the 60 horsepower. So what stays all the same after that is the interior. So whenever we get talking about the inside of it, everything's going to be the same through the whole lineup. And there is some key features there that we're going to touch base on that really drive home what a Grand L is, because these are basically the Cadillac of the Kubota lineups. They come with a lot of key things that aren't available on the rest of the lineup. Again, whether it's all throttle advance, stall guard and stuff, they're only on this lineup of the Grand Ls. You won't see them on the rest of the Kubotas. So again, what they really drive home on these units is delivering a lot of horsepower in a small package. That's why you see a lot of these L6060s out there doing commercial snow removal, is because they have the tightest turning radius. They have the most horsepower that they can deliver with a hydrostatic transmission. So it makes it a lot easier on the operator to really pick up what he needs to get done and do it just that much quicker. So let's dive into it now and talk about this specific unit and what makes it so special. Okay, so first I should acknowledge, you'll see in my hand here, I've got a list of about 25 key features that we're going to be discussing here. I have not memorized them. So we're going to first talk about the Grand L and what it is, and then we're going to jump back to acknowledging this list and going through everything that is on it and pointing out all those key features. So let's start at the front here. As you'll see here, we have weights on the front and no loaders. So the reason why we have that is whenever you get into fleets, so I'm talking to the guy who has anywhere from 5 to 50 of these, they're probably gonna have 1 or 2 or a half a dozen with loaders, and then there could be a selection of front blades, frame mounted blades on it, or they could be about 90% of them set up as you see here with just a blower on the back. So again, it all depends on how many you have, but hardly ever will you see one for residential use with a loader on the front. The reason for that, just space. Again, you get into the cities and stuff like that where everything's side by side. You don't need to be taking up an extra 8 feet out front here for turning with that loader. So, and again, whenever you're not going to be using it, because you're going to be using that blower to move all your snow, it's not always needed. So again, so you'll see weights here. They are 55 pounds. There are 7 of them there. You can get extensions and stuff and add more if need be, but this is what's recommended with that blower on the back. After that, whenever you have a conversation, you always want to have a conversation about tires, right? So again, there is a selection of them available for the Grand L lineup. So again, these are your snow tires. This is what you're going to see in Canada. These are the Nokian radials. You're going to see them on the 6060s that are used primarily for snow removal, but they are a fantastic tire. Really the only downside to them, and it is a big one, is the price. After that, whenever you start using them, you're going to love them, because again, they're great on for landscaping, whenever you're on hard packs, whenever you're on snow, obviously. Really the only functional part that isn't the greatest is whenever you get into mud. But again, they're just going to get you farther into the mud hole, or sorry, industrial tires will just get you farther in the mud hole compared to Nokians, but at the end of the day, they're about equal on that. And then after that, the choice of tires, again, there's a selection of turf tires out there for them. Industrial, and then Nokians is basically what you're going to boil down to on that. Whenever you jump a little bit further up, you'll see this engine. So this engine is going to deliver you 62 horsepower, gross engine horsepower. After that, your PTO is going to be approximately 54 on that to give you as much power as possible with that hydrostatic transmission. And again, you'll see it's all jammed in there. Again, all your daily check stuff, including your block heater, is nice and easy to get to. Again, whether it may be, again, whenever these are commercial applications, you really want to make that simple and easy. Kubota has done that for your daily checks, no tools necessary. So let's jump farther back and talk about the cab area and what makes it so special. So whenever we get into the operator station, this is where the Grand really shows in the Grand L lineup. So a lot of key features that you're only going to see on the Grand Ls and not in the rest of the Kubota lineup. So let's jump right to them. Again, starting off the bat here is we have the split shift. So again, you'll see them on some of the other bigger units, but at the end of the day, is what it does is as a rabbit turtle here, and it works in tandem with your high, low, and medium. So lots of commercial operators love it because they're going from place to place and they hit a hill. So they're going to be in high and they're going up a hill. They don't have to drop back to medium. They can just go down to turtle here, and it's going to get them up over the hill and then back up to rabbit without having to change anything. Don't have to take your hands out really off of the important part of going forward, right? Which is what you're looking for whenever you're looking for speed. What works great as well is this auto throttle advance. So again, you're going to see that in some of the LXs now, a little bit of a rudimentary one on the LX 35 and 40. This one is well advanced. It's pretty awesome. Again, what does it do? Best explanation I can give is it kind of controls the engine from here, from the foot pedals. So basically it drives more like a car. So whenever you come up to, you're driving on the side of the road, you come up to a stop sign, you let off the pedal, it comes back down to an idle, and then as you pull away, the more you press on the pedal, the more it speeds up the engine, as well as your speed. So it's just great because at the end of the day, your hands are up here. They're not going onto the hand throttle. They're not taking you away from here. It's basically just on and off the foot pedal and away you go. Really, the only drawback to that is if you get into a scenario where you're kind of hopping a little bit, and by that case, I mean you're jumping, so your foot's kind of hopping, and it'll start creating the tractor to be hopping. But again, very minor, and whenever you see it happening, you just let off and let everything catch back up, and away you go. Another key feature, again, especially important in the commercial application, but even the homeowner will enjoy it, is the stall guard. Again, fairly standard on a lot of units out there, but very handy whenever you get into the commercial operation and stuff. Stall guard, what does it do? Makes it very hard to stall a tractor. After that is, how does it work? Well, again, a great explanation is whenever you're blowing snow, you get a big drift. Again, with wind and stuff, it happens fairly often. Or at the end of your driveway when the plow goes by, is let's say you're blowing snow at about 8-9 miles an hour. Well, that's probably too fast, but let's say 5 miles an hour. You're going through the snow, you hit that drift, and it wants to start stalling on you. What's going to happen is the tractor's going to automatically slow down, let's say down to like 4 or 3.5 miles an hour. And then as you pull through, it's going to speed back up. You haven't moved your hands from here. You haven't changed where your pedal is, where your hand throttle is. It's just automatically doing it, making you look like an expert without you having to do anything. So that's some of the key features you're going to see out front here. Another nice one, especially whenever you're looking to control your operation of the loader, if it is in there, or maybe a blade. And it also comes in handy if you're blowing snow again, is taking your tractor to wide open. Is it with as simple as this button back here? You can't really see it from a distance, but it is right there. You press that button and hold it, it takes it right to wide open. As soon as you let back off, it goes back down to whatever you have your hand throttle set at, or where the engine RPMs are set at. So it can be as low as an idle. Those are the key features that bring out a Grand L. It's going to have your standard ones after that are on all the Kubota lineups, whether it's your foot throttle for your forward reverse there. It's a little bit different than what you're going to see in the rest of the lineup. Again, it is it's a different color, and then after that, it's just it's big and different than what you're going to see on your Ls and your MXs. Again, it comes standard with 2 sets of remotes, which is very handy whenever you're doing commercial. You can add a third one, lowering, lifting, 3-point hitch. You got your heat and air up here with a radio, lots of space. Mentioning the seat here, you'll see that it is an air ride seat. That comes standard with the Nordic package, but you can get it on other Grand Ls. And after that, if you stay with the standard seat, you will see a little lever right here that lets you actually turn left or right about 15 degrees. You're going to say, well, that's not a whole lot. It is awesome whenever you're blowing snow, and that's what that base comes in handy for, with that turning, so that you're just turning a little bit less either way, that you have that slanted, and it just saves your neck, shoulder area. It's what you're gonna love it if you have it. So again, it doesn't translate whenever you have an air ride, but with a standard seat you have that. So that kind of wraps up what's all available in this cab and what makes a Grand L so special. So let's jump to the back and talk about the 3-point hitch. Whenever we skip around to the back here, again, it looks pretty standard to what a tractor normally looks like. What are some of the key features you're going to look for on a Grand L? First off, I'll mention again is the tires. Whenever you got those Nokians, it still keeps it very narrow. Again, you'll see some deep lugs in there, but at the end of the day, that's why these are so popular. It kind of keeps it narrow with lots of traction. So again, whenever we skip around a 3-point hitch, it lifts a ton. Again, you know, you're like in that 3,500 pound range, more than enough for this nice blower back there. After that, you'll see it's standard again with the 2 sets of remotes. Again, it was needed with some of these commercial blowers. You'll see some upgrades that we'll mention here in a minute. After that, you'll see the key feature, you know, of being able to extend extendable arms. It's nice and easy to adjust your sway bars there to take the sway out of it so you're not into your tires. It's basically a standard lift, a standard 3-point hitch back there. Like I said, it's got a ton of lift for the size of it at approximately 3,500 pounds. So again, 3-point hitches aren't all that exciting to talk about, but it is very important to know that whenever you match up implements to this, there is a wide range of implements that you can get with it. So let's jump to it now and talk about this Norman snowblower. So when we start talking about this implement that's on the back here, we've got the Norman N82-260 hybrid. So we do have quite a few videos out there of showing this in operation. Again, the one reason why this is all set up and ready to go is here in Ontario, or at least in this area, is the contracts start November 1st, so we're a couple weeks away from that. So that's why this is all set to go with no snow on the ground, because between November 1st and I believe it's April sometime, April 15th, it can snow and snow a lot. So these have to be on location for that time period. So talking about the Normans, this particular unit is created and works fantastic with the L6060. So again, Norman worked with some local operators in the Quebec City area to really perfect this unit to work exclusively with the tractor you see with this setup, because there's hundreds of them out there to do the driveways just like this. So what makes the Norman so special? Again, whenever you get into it, some of the particulars. Again, it is has the hydraulic chute rotation, hydraulic deflector are standard. The height of the blower, you know, you're going to be at 28.5 inches. The impeller, which is always very important to mention, is 26 inches. The depth of that impeller, 11 inch. It is a 4-blade impeller. Auger that's spinning under there, 16 inches in diameter, and it has a reversible carbon steel cutting edge on there, and it weighs approximately 1,100 pounds. So what makes a hybrid so special over the standard inverted is you're going to see that auger transition from here to all the way back there. So it is spinning there and throwing it up into the propeller, which is in behind this guard here, and throwing it out. You're like, well, that's kind of a screwy way of doing it. It's just a different way of doing it, and it works awesome. The reason you do all that is because whenever you lift it up, there will be no snow under there. It's just going to be bare, and that's what you're looking for. It lets you, sightline wise, see to the very end and get you as close as you can to that garage door whenever you're operating these commercially. After that, Norman's thought of a lot of little things on this to really make it just an awesome blower. Again, everything's nicely covered up, put away, but again, if you did have something jam in there, it's just 3 levers, you're in under there to see the fan. All your other stuff is in under guards, whether you're looking for your shear bolts, again under the black guard here and a black guard there, nice and easy to get at. And again, even whenever you jam up and you need to spin the auger, there's a tool here to do that, so your hands are all free. And make sure you shut everything off again. You will also see is the skid shoes here on the side are spring loaded. You can see I can even move them by hand. So again, really lets it bite down there to get right down to your asphalt to keep everything nice and clear, because that's what you're paying for. One drawback to all that, we ran into it with a customer there last year, is if you are doing gravel driveways and you're not keeping this all clean, there is a mechanism in there, you can run into it jamming and jamming up. And again, wearing out premature a couple of the bearings that keep everything moving there. So just be mindful of that, but Norman does think of all those little things to make it a great unit. Case in point is designing this blower to work in unison with this L6060. So now let's bring out some of the key features that are included with the Nordic kit, as well as what this customer has included from Huckabones. I'm bringing out this handy list again. As mentioned off the top, there is way too many options to memorize on this. I can point out most of them with the naked eye kind of idea, but it's nice to have the list so you, the viewer, gets the whole show. So starting with the tires, as mentioned again, these are Nokian tires. They're not exclusive to a Nordic kit by any means, but they are what highly recommended whenever you're doing commercial snow removal. In them, you'll see the lug indicators, front and rear, very important whenever you're getting into commercial applications. And then you have the weights out front. There is 7 of them at 55 pounds. Again, you can add more, but that is the standard amount you're going to see on them. You'll see the stainless steel heat shields on here. Again, very important if you look at anything with in commercial snow removal. Rust is a major factor, so it's nice not to have that all rot away on you rather quickly. After that, you have the extended rear fenders here. Very important, again, dealing with salt, that you're not going to be having that tossed up into the cab area. And then whenever you move around to the back there's some silver pieces on there, and they are the rear axle reinforcement kit and then the floating lift arms rods upgraded. What it translates to is it just helps whenever you have bigger implements on there, whenever you're going down the road seeing lots of bouncing, that it's just a natural upgrade to see. After that, whenever we get into the Nordic kit now, what comes standard with it is the air ride seat. As mentioned, you're going to have a couple different choices there, and then you have front and rear LED work lights. Again, as mentioned in many other videos, it should come standard now, especially on the Grand L lineup. You'll have heated side view mirrors. Again, right here on both sides, relatively important. Again, I don't really, from my usage, they don't come in handy too often, but again, up here you can run into freezing rain where it can help melt it off. One very important item you're going to see on the 3-point hitch there is an actuator. Really can't stress enough, it should be on anything used commercially to take that bounce out of that 3-point hitch. I've seen many tractors rip that top casing off the 3-point hitch there. Just you hit that bump wrong at high speeds and you're going to run into issues basically. And it may not happen the first time, but it's definitely going to happen by the 1000th time that you're going to need it. So strongly recommend having that on it. One small one that is highly recommended is you'll see an interior rear view mirror. Pretty minor, but should have it all the time. After that, there's going to be something called a pump lube kit underneath that engine there. What does it do? Basically just helps keep it a little bit cooler there, so you're not seeing any premature wear on your hydraulic pumps that way. And then you're going to see some special badging. You'll see it on the side doors and then up on the seat itself. So that's what makes this tractor its own. So not only have we taken what comes in the kit, but have added to it from what's available from Kubota to really make it a commercial snow removal tractor. Okay, so that brings us to the end of today's video. Again, this time of year, you go to a lot of bigger Kubota dealers out there. You're going to see L6060 set up like this and ready to go, because we're down to the crunch time with only a few weeks to go before those contracts start. But outside of that time frame, hopefully this video will bring you some information that may potentially be thinking about in the future, whether it be commercial application or just looking to do your own driveway. So if you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments, please down below. Thank you.